And greetings. Welcome to Maxims of Law, Part 8. And welcome to everyone that's here. Let's get started. Part 18. Maxims of Law, Part 18. Let's get started. So today we're going over time, including day, which we've also precedent we've also gone over. And before we get started, just to remind everyone, this is for educational entertainment purposes only, not to be used for any professional, legal, or lawful means or for any kind of decisions other than for the purposes of this broadcast tonight. Don't do this at home. That being said, let's proceed. Time is a means of destroying obligations and actions, for time runs against the slothful and those who neglect their own rights. Interesting. So time is a means of destroying obligations and destroying actions. Interesting concept. The time is to be considered. All right. And let's continue from here. There we go. A day begun is held as complete. The end of one day is the beginning of another. An uncertain day is held as a condition. Back to condition, which we did a whole section on maxims regarding condition. After lapse of time, all things are presumed to have been done in due form. Lapse of time does not bar the commonwealth. The commonwealth by time. What is reasonable time, the law does not define. It is left to the discretion of judges. Interesting. Especially regarding certain laws like FOIA requests in some states where they're to be responded to within a reasonable time. That in this maxim here is left to the discretion of judges. Lion 1, great to see you here. All right, let us continue. Times are to be distinguished. Distinguish times, and you will attune laws. A term of years ought to be certain and determinate. When we say a term of years, many years isn't going to cut it, it seems, according to this maxim. Time expresses both a precise point and an interval between 2 points. Interesting. The law does not take notice of a portion of a day. Wow. Now that's an interesting way to look at the law, as a portion of a day. It's not to be taken notice of, only the day as a whole. He who is first in time is preferred in right. Priority in time gives preference in law. All right, and we're on to truth. See also error and fiction, which we've already gone over. Records are vestiges of antiquity and truth. I've seen this one before. So the records are vestiges of antiquity and truth. He who does not freely speak the truth is a betrayer of the truth. Ooh. The law never suffers anything contrary to truth. Law learning time. I'll tell you what, this last maxim here is a very powerful one. He who does not freely speak the truth is a betrayer of the truth. All right, let's continue here. Facts are more powerful than words. Suppression of the truth is equivalent to the expression or suggestion of what is false. Truth, by whomever pronounced, is from God. Truth fears nothing but concealment. We can do nothing against truth. Fact in pleading is circumstance, act, event, or incident, while truth is a legal principle which declares or governs facts in their operation and effect. This is a nice, very clear distinction here. Truth is the supreme guide here. So let's read this one again and deconstruct it a bit more. Fact in pleading is circumstance, the facts in your pleadings. Circumstance, act, event, or incident. Those are the facts in pleading. While truth is legal principle which declares or governs facts in their operation and effect. So the truth is the legal principle that declares or governs the facts that are in effect or in operation. And the facts are the pleading of this in the circumstance, act, event, or incident. Interesting distinction here, and it gets quite complex. So let's see if we get more clarification as we continue on with these maxims. Truth in the name takes away error in the description. Quite nice. Truth is lost by excessive altercation. Wow. So too much fightings and arguments, you can lose the truth. Truth which is not sufficiently defended is overpowered, and he who does not disapprove approves. Truth is the mother of justice. Interesting. So we see a lot of I guess you could consider them anthropomorphisms with a type of familiar or other types of relations in metaphors relating to these maxims of law. And I find those that would be quite interesting, and it'd be interesting to make a collection of them to see how many there are, because some of them are contrasting and comparative, as well as others are more illustrative of different types of situations, where others are more of where the maxims fit into our day-to-day life. All right, let's continue on to war and the law of nations. Now that we're in this period here right now, while I'm making this live stream, where this is in the mainstream right now and in the mainstream noise, let's continue with some clear signal of wisdom of the ages with our maxims. Conditions are made by conquerors to be observed by the conquered. That's a maxim of the law of nations. Peace is to be secured by victory, not by negotiation. The vanquished is to be condemned in costs to the victor. One may destroy a man who makes war upon him, as he may kill a wolf or lion, because such men are not under the ties of the common law of reason, and have no other rule but that of force and violence. And that comes from John Locke. International law, or the law of nations, is that law which regulates the intercourse of nations. So these are the laws which regulate and control intercourse between nations. Let's continue. Enemies are those whom we declare war upon, or who declare it against us. All others are traitors or pirates. Let's read this one again. Enemies are those whom we declare war upon, or who declare it against us. All others are traitors or pirates. It's a word we don't hear much of these days. Pirates. Fraud and deceit do not exist in international affairs or in a state of war, as no remedy of law exists. Wow. International law originates in the law of nature and is based upon certain divine decrees which have separated nations and men. International law is affected by positive written law, founded on usage, consent, and agreement. An aggressor who puts himself into the state of war with another and unjustly invades another's right can never, by such unjust war, come to have a right over the conquered. Again, from Locke. Let's read this one again here. An aggressor who puts himself into the state of war with another and unjustly invades another's right, like a right of life, liberty, and property, can never, by such unjust war, come to have a right over the conquered. It is best and most prudent to have commercial intercourse with all nations, but political ties with none. And that's one of our great American maxims. Let's read that one again. It is best and most prudent to have commercial intercourse with all nations, but political ties with none. If only we could live by this maxim with our international affairs government decisions today. And lastly, here in this section, the people have given their governors no power to do an unjust thing, such as to make an unjust war, for they never had such a power themselves. Wow. One more time. The people have given to their governors no power to do an unjust thing, such as to make an unjust war, for they never had such a power themselves. What a great one to end on here for tonight. The next one we're going to be starting with on our next expedition on these maxims of law will be the wills and testament. So be sure you hit the bell notification and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And let's keep this down. We're almost through this entire book. That's cover to cover. For those of you who've spent the time to stick with it, this is a good accomplishment to have covered this cover to cover of all these maxims of law in English. So, with that, I would like to thank everyone for coming out again tonight. Let's continue this expedition. We're almost to the end of it, and I hope to see you all on the next one. Peace out.